Welcome to Hardline. I know that Major Burdock already did a story about this. You can probably find it at Tora 3 and thegoldwater.com. The media erupts over the Greenwald thing. But you know what? I've been watching Greenwald, Matt Taibbi, Yasha Levine, Jimmy Dore, and these other folks as they've been picking apart the corporate-controlled liberal media for months throughout this entire election cycle, so I couldn't resist putting my 2 cents in. Now, first off, I want to applaud Glenn Greenwald, not only for years of excellent reporting, but for the bravery it takes to, stand up for what he believes in, to leave the very venue that he founded. The Intercept was created so that corporations and media monopolists and oligarchs and editors and intel sources wouldn't be able to say, no, we're not carrying that story. We're not going to cover that story. And so it's a real irony and a real shame that he's had to leave the outlet, the very outlet that he founded. Another interesting thing about this story, of course, is the fact that, since in the past, 24 or 48 hours, he's appeared on Matt Taibbi's podcast, but he's also appeared, hiss. He's also appeared on Joe Rogan's show, and oh, wonder of wonders, not Tucker Carlson on Fox News, Caitlin Johnstone, another, left libertarian-leaning reporter, independent journalist, pointed out, there's people calling him a fascist and a white supremacy enabler and all this kind of stuff just because he appeared on Fox. But as Caitlin Johnstone pointed out, okay, well, if liberal media would give him a chance to speak, but they're not going to because they're afraid to hear what he has to say. As is currently, it's apart from Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi and Yasha Levine and a handful of other people, Susie Dawson, Caitlin Johnstone, it's only conservatives and Republicans and right-wing outlets talking about the Biden laptop and the Biden story. And, one thing that upsets me is there's a big focus on, oh my gosh, look, there's hookers and there's crack and meth and, dick pics, all this junk. Dude, that's the distraction. Ignore that. What's important in this story is what's in the emails, what's on the phone calls, what's in the recordings. And not only that, though, this is another thing that Matt, Yasha, and Glenn have all been talking about a lot. The frightening idea that we could be headed towards something like a corporate/state media. All the major media sources are ignoring it, and your average American who is not a conservative just immediately thinks, if it was such a big story, wouldn't the news be covering this? And that's the problem. No, not when they've got interests to protect. You remember when ABC News sat on a story about Epstein? That was because we were about to have the royal wedding, and they were afraid that if they talked about Prince Andrew, they wouldn't get photo ops with Meghan and Harry. It's ridiculous. But that's the way access media, corporate media works. More and more we see these stories with unnamed intelligence sources. And a lot of times, by the way, they were saying, oh, this has all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. A week or so later, the FBI says, okay, so there's no evidence that this is misinformation or from the Russians. Too late. It's already in everybody's minds. Anybody who is not reading Gateway Pundit or the Daily Caller or one of these right-wing sources, or following along with the very few dissidents on the left, like Glenn Greenwald, are under the opinion that all this is either A, just a bunch of lurid Inquirer style, oh, well, so he did drugs, I'm not voting for Hunter Biden. Yeah, I get it. It has nothing to do with Hunter Biden. What it has to do with is Hunter Biden's dealings with the Ukraine and China and Joe Biden's dealings with those deals. That's the story here. That and the fact that there's a massive cover-up going on. In the Franklin scandal, John W. DeCamp pointed out that if you've got law enforcement and the government and the media all in on it, then you can cover up pretty much anything. And considering the fact that the FBI was sitting on this laptop since December of 2019, I believe, then it looks like we really do. You look at Shizok, or however you pronounce the guy's name, and the text messages from 2015 before the or 2016 before the election. It's obvious there's some dirty people in the FBI and the CIA. Not all of them. I wouldn't besmirch the honor of every agent or whatever, but there's definitely some dirty folks who have an agenda, who are not upholding their duties. And so yeah, God bless Glenn Greenwald, and Godspeed to him. I hope he does great. And by the way, for anybody out there listening, I would encourage you, follow Glenn Greenwald, follow Matt Taibbi, follow Yasha Levine, follow Caitlin Johnstone. You're not going to agree with everything they say. I don't. But they are some of the few people who are not in the conservative echo chamber, who are aware of this really clear and present danger as far as media manipulation and Silicon Valley and the media colluding to basically install Biden. And in fact, that's what I'll leave you guys with. I'll never forget, Amy Coney Barrett is now Supreme Court Justice. I remember them saying that supposedly RBG's dying wish was that she not be replaced until a new president is installed. Excuse me, installed? We don't install presidents in the United States. The CIA has installed leaders in places that we've targeted, but I don't want that kind of activity coming home. But anyways, like I said, that's about all I got for you right now. Follow Glenn Greenwald, follow those guys, and everybody have a safe and happy Halloween weekend.